Welcome to another episode of Out of the Pods. I'm Deepti.
And I'm Natalie. Do you ever think of changing our intro? Like, what if we were like, hello?
Just to surprise them a little bit.
Obviously, everybody knows it's another episode of Out of the Pods.
Yeah, that's
true.
Do
we have to continue saying it?
Honestly, I feel like we don't. We could just be like, hey guys, what's up?
Ooh, that feels casual. A little bit weird.
It does feel weird.
Well,
I feel like if somebody accidentally listens or there's new listeners, they need to know. You know, like, hey, welcome. This is Out of the Pods.
Even though we label every single of our episodes, welcome to another episode of Out of the Pods.
Yeah. Yep.
Like they need to know.
What if we started doing the title? We're like 58 dot and then read it out.
Okay, that could work too.
No, I hate that. I was kidding.
I'm very, very shiny today in the face.
I love it.
Before
You're
we
glowing.
Started, Deepti was like, ew, you've got like skin hanging from your face. And I was like, it's because I went too hard on the retinol last night. And just acne medicine in general, because I have the worst adult acne. I haven't talked about it in a while on this podcast, but guys, like, I feel like my face is pregnant sometimes because the mounds that grow on my face are crazy. You've seen it. They look like little people about to like shoot out from my face.
That's why your free Discover page is all like pimples and extractions.
It's mostly blackhead extractions. I don't
right.
like the cystic acne that I have. I like the blackheads that are, you know, like very easy to pop out. But
I feel like I would have been a bad friend if I didn't tell you that was there. And plus, I think the whole recording of this episode, I'd be staring at it and you're like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Okay, that is so rude.
No, it was just a tiny little guy. It wasn't even anything. It was
you know
cute.
What? It's okay. It's okay if it was hanging, because last night I went on a date and at the end of the date I came home and looked in the mirror and my face was so crusty and dry from the acne medicine that I've been using.
Oh, because it's drying out everything.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. I was like, I'll never see this man again, because it looks like he's probably like, this woman is shedding before my eyes. Like a reptile.
Wait, have you seen that funny thing where it's like going around on TikTok, and I think it's been happening for a while, but girlfriends are telling their boyfriends, because there's like this chemical peel thing that you can do for your face and it looks like skin when you peel it off. And so they're telling their boyfriends, like on the TikTok video, they're like, yeah, like every like 6 to 8 months I shed the skin like this, like a snake. And he's like, what? And they're like,
no,
so
wait, I've seen it where they're
it?
like, it's that time of the month where I'm ready for my shed.
Yes.
No, men will believe anything.
Anything. Have you seen that? Actually, girlfriends have been doing this too on videos. They're like, hey, like, can you pick me up like this flavor of a tampon? And they're like, flavor? They're like, what's an S flavor? They literally have no clue.
No, it's
even
crazy.
If you ask them like, hey, do you know how girls pee? Like, what do they pee out of? They're like, isn't it like the same spot like as a vagina? Like, what?
They will never know what it means to have a cramp. Like a period cramp.
Yes.
They will never know what it means. Like, it's your time of the month. You're so ravenous. They don't know what it's like to clear out a fridge just because you're on your fucking period.
No, I know. But that's why I love the stimulators where like like you put it on your stomach for boys and they can feel what cramps feel like or what pregnancy is like. But that's on like
TV shows or like for the little like YouTube like pranks.
That's true. They're like obviously for content purposes.
I think men should be required by law to go through a period cramp simulator or a stimulated birth.
At least once in their lifetime.
Once in their lifetime, they should, to really appreciate women.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, not to be, you know, boasting, but I really rarely get cramps. Thankfully. But I get back pain. I get really bad back pain.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I used to get cramps so bad I would pass out at school when I was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
And my parents would have to pick me up.
Were your periods really bad?
Really bad.
Ooh, that's
like really bad.
Rough.
I was like Niagara Falls.
You sound like my sister. Niagara Falls.
And like my dad.
Flowing, baby.
My dad worked from home, and so he would be the parent who has to like pick me up. And you could just tell, like, he wanted to ask questions. He probably thought I was faking it. He's like, why am I picking her up again?
Yeah.
But, you know, like, they can't. Like, what is he going to be like? Question my period cramps?
Yeah.
I'd be like...
Wait, can I tell you, when I was in high school, the hardest moment for me was when I was on my period, because you know how pads, like, can leak and shit? That happened to me one time in school, and it was mortifying.
Oh,
mortifying.
The leak is... Everyone has this moment where... you got the leak.
You got the leak. And
it leaked.
Mm-hmm.
That happened. I can tell you, it happened in Miss Reynolds' classroom.
Yes, and you're like so scared to get up after like the class rings, the bell rings.
I didn't even know. And then someone was like, oh my gosh, Natalie, like you have one big red circle on your ass crack.
But the problem is, growing up in high school, I was bullied so much. I barely had friends. They're probably like, let's let her walk around. I'm like walking by mirrors. I'm like, let me look. Or you just stay seated until everyone leaves. And I'm like, okay, I can get up now.
Gonna do a little quick back check.
Wait, tell me about your date. How was your date yesterday?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Ooh, I couldn't wait to tell you guys. Like, when things happen in our lives, my first thought typically is like, I can't wait to tell our pod besties what the fuck just happened.
Absolutely. You pull up Notes app and you go.
100%. I was like, I got to write down every details about what happened to me. Last night was one of those moments because I don't know. I just kind of went off the deep end. I went a little bit unhinged. But let me just set the stage for you guys. So I have a friend, an old coworker who found out that I was single, and she's like, oh, I have a friend. So this is a coworker that lives out of state, and she's like, I have a friend of my husband who lives in Chicago, and he recently got out of a relationship.
Yeah.
I think you guys would be a really good match, so let me set up a date.
Oh, we love a good matchmaker. Let's go.
Not here we don't.
Gotta put yourself out there.
So anyways, this has been a long time coming. I finally was like, oh, fine. Very successful lawyer, works for a big law firm here in Chicago, went to Harvard Law. So I knew all of this before going in, not because she told me, it's because I freaking creeped.
Yeah.
I did my due diligence, as one girl should.
Absolutely.
So we go on this date. He's really great. So we have really good banter. We're talking about like our families. Like I'm talking about how I have an older sister and I'm the youngest. He's telling me he's like the middle child. He gets along with his siblings. And like typically the follow-up question to this conversation is like about family, or like, are you, something about.
Just to have the conversation flow. Yeah.
And all of a sudden he asks, where'd you go to college? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, this is so left field. And I was like, oh, I went to Loyola Chicago. What about you? And he goes, I went to Harvard.
Yeah.
For undergrad and law school.
So it's a
obviously he like brought up this question, which was very like abrupt and out of left field because he wanted to tell me what college he went to.
Yeah.
Very obvious.
Yeah.
Typically, I would let it slide. But you know me, I hate men who boast or show off.
People. Yes.
I was like, I just feel like this, like it gave me the ick. So I go, wow, you really wanted. Okay, I did this very kindly, as kindly as I could.
Yeah.
It was like very, like I was.
I wish I was a fly on the wall to hear this.
I was using, like my McDonald's ordering voice. You guys all have that voice. Like when you're about to order a McDonald's meal, you're like, hi, how are you? Oh, great. Like, when you're going through a drive-thru.
No, I don't go through McDonald's drive-thrus and eat fish fillets.
That is, we are very opposite.
Yes. Okay, so what happened?
I do that once a week. So I'm like, oh, I was like, you really want to tell me you went to Harvard, eh? Like I was like just
being funny about it.
Like, he got so offended. Like you could tell the smile just wiped off his face. And he goes, I think you're, and he goes straight up says to me, he goes, I think you're being really pretentious right now. And I was like, oh, sorry. No. I was joking. I was like, it just felt weird. Like the conversation transitioned from family to college really fast. And so I assumed like you wanted to tell me you went to Harvard. And then I started getting pissed. Yeah. And I was like, look, if I went to Harvard, I'd want to show it off too. But I was like, you got to find a better way to like bring it into conversation.
Wait, stop.
Like I was just, because I was like, you really just fucking called me pretentious?
Yeah, no, that's rude actually. Okay, also.
Maybe I was in the wrong. And I do think I was.
Yeah.
However, men who show off about that shit, sometimes I'm like, look, the moment he showed off that he went to Harvard Law and Harvard undergrad, I was like, this isn't going to be it.
Yeah.
My biggest deal breaker and ick are men who show off.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I hate it. I've been in a relationship with men like that. I don't like it. I realize they never change, even though you tell them like, stop doing that. They never do.
Yes.
And so once he said that, I was like, I'm never seeing this man again. And I was like, but if there's anything that he's going to come out of the state is to know not to show off.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll be
And
a little
also,
learning lesson.
There's a time and place and a way to do it. It's sometimes I'm like, it's not about what you say, it's how you do it, what tone you use.
Totally.
All of that shit makes a difference when you're talking to, especially on a first date. Like you have to be a little bit more subtle about it and like kind of have it flow into conversation. That man uses that line for like icebreakers
100%.
and like random shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like he leads with that to be like, oh, I am worthy, or like, it's kind of like screams insecurity a little bit.
So, anyways, I don't know if I was in the wrong or right, or if I was rude for like saying what I said, like, oh, you were really trying to like bring that into conversation. But I was like, you know what? Maybe this will be like a learning experience, like not to do whatever the fuck you did, because it was so obvious you were trying to show off that you went to Harvard Law.
Yeah.
Also, I already knew, dude.
Was just gonna say, bro,
your LinkedIn's public.
You're like, you think I didn't look your ass up?
I was like, I know what cubicle you sit in. I was like,
I know who your coworkers are. I know what you do for happy hour.
I know how many people are on your team at work. Yes. I know the hours you work. And I was like, you really thought I didn't need to know?
No. Okay. Can I just say, I don't think it was rude that you called it out, because you did it in a joking way. But I think him calling you pretentious is rude.
Totally.
Because that's like a very blatant, like, I'm going to call your ass out in a bigger way. You know what I mean?
So the vibes are off, though. Like the vibes are off.
I'd be like, check please, immediately.
And I was like, you want to split the bill? But you went to Harvard.
You can afford this, or are you in debt?
You guys already know this about me, but I like to think of myself as an underwear connoisseur. Like I'm very particular about the underwear I wear, and all I look for is fit and comfort and breathability. And I've tried maybe 50 brands, and one of my favorites so far is MeUndies. Oh my gosh, they feel like you're wearing your favorite sweater in your pants. They are so buttery soft and so comfortable and really breathable. I highly recommend them. I'm actually wearing a pair right now.
Well, last week we talked about timeless loungewear like sweatshirts and sweatpants, because let's be for real, we keep loungewear for a really long time, especially when they're soft and comfortable and look stylish. And not only does MeUndies have soft underwear, but they also have a lounge collection of comfy joggers, hoodies, and onesies too.
Also, I just found this out. If you're not happy with your first pair of undies, it's on MeUndies. I also love that they use sustainably sourced materials and work with partners that care for their workers. So get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/outofthepods.
That's MeUndies.com/outofthepods for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in.
So anyways, after the date, he ended up texting my friend, like talking about how pretentious I was.
Shut
and
up.
how I was judging him about what college he went to. And I was like, oh my God.
That's actually,
I was like,
you know what? That's pretty on brand for a Harvard graduate.
Look, no judgment. I'm not trying to stereotype or generalize anyone, but I was like, what the fuck?
No, it's like when you go to like, not fancy schools, when you go to like Ivy League schools like that, there is kind of like an ego a little bit that comes with it. It's almost like when you're proud of something, you want to like tell people about it, but the way you do it makes such a difference.
But can I tell you, I think it's so great that he went to an Ivy League school. It's so great he went to Harvard. Like, what an accomplishment.
Yeah, you love that shit.
But I was like, you know what? That was 13 years ago for you, sir. That's like you telling me you were a D1 athlete. Like, does it matter now?
Yes. Well, I mean, people milk that for a while.
I know, but I was like, look, if you played college sports at 18 and you're telling me as a 35-year-old, you gotta let it go.
Yeah, you gotta.
Just like, it's like, what does going to Harvard really tell me about you? That you studied really hard, or maybe you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which he did come from a lot of money. So I was like, maybe you paved your way to Harvard.
Wait, have you heard the new TikTok trend song where it's like, I'm looking for a guy in finance, 6'5", blue eyes, trust fund. Have you seen that?
If there was a song about us, it'd be like, I'm looking for a girl who's Asian.
Not on a reality show.
5'4", kind of mean.
Don't pull a Cardi B and say the Asian thing.
A little bit mean. And stupid enough to do a reality TV show.
I'm looking for, that is a banger though. I'm going to be jamming to that all summer long.
That used to be my type when I was like 25. Now I'm looking for a guy who literally just works a casual 9-to-5 job, has very little ambition, doesn't show off about anything. 5'9".
5'9".
I'm gonna settle for any colored eyes at this point. I was like, doesn't have to be blue.
Wait, one of the guys, a guy made a rebuttal of it and was like, one of the things was just has eyes, and we're like, yep, check, has
just
eyes.
like just one eyeball. Yeah, that's all I ask at this point.
We just a little bit of vision and we're good.
Like, I really don't ask for much anymore.
That's funny. Wait, okay. Did you hear that Perfect Match season 2 has been announced?
Yes, I heard about that. It's coming out June 7th, and you bet your asses that we'll be recapping on this podcast.
Absolutely. And for some reason, I wasn't excited about season 1 of Perfect Match, even though we knew a lot of the participants, contestants, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like for season 2, I didn't know a lot of the cast.
Yeah, so from the Love is Blind franchise, it's Micah, Jess, Izzy, and they also announced Trevor, which was kind of crazy. So he was in the trailer for Perfect Match season 2, even though they didn't announce him part of that show during the reunion for season 6.
Yeah. I think they were like, had to call him out. They had bigger fish to fry at the reunion.
Isn't that so weird though?
It is kind of weird. I feel like, remember when we were recapping season 6, we were talking about how we were thinking they may cut him out entirely, but maybe he has somewhat of a storyline? I don't know.
So he definitely doesn't have a storyline, but I assume that there's like, there's always those scenes like, it was like this for Perfect Match season 1, where they bring everyone part of the show together and they're sitting for like the final episode. I wonder if it was too hard to cut him out, or like on that screen where they look at everyone, all the potential matches, like they couldn't take him out.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, they have to show him. Like, if he filmed it, there's no easy way to completely cut him out. So it'll be interesting. But I was shocked.
Yeah, me too. I was shocked that Trevor was in the trailer. I'm going to be honest, I'm not excited for Perfect Match season 2. I didn't really like season 1 of the show, and it's not because my ex was on there, but more so it just wasn't my thing. First of all, it felt very like cringy and fake. Like everyone was just trying to match up because they wanted screen time, which was the case. Like no one ended up together from that show.
Yes.
And spoiler alert, no one ends up together on this show either after it was done filming Perfect Match season 2, considering almost everyone from that cast has already revealed their relationship status or they're posting their significant others. So people already know, like.
Exactly. And then Harry outed it, was like, oh, my ex. Like, so obviously him and Jess don't end up together. So it's going to be, again, we have learned from season 1 that they're not actually going there to find love. This is just a little clout fest. which more power to you. It'll be fun to watch.
I just don't like these types of shows. Like, I heard for season 2, they're bringing back the kissing challenge where they all like kiss each other. Yeah. And it's like not the type of reality TV show or dating show I like to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I like watching Love is Blind. I mean, apart from the fact that we were on the show, but it is still very like, I wouldn't say mature, but it's
wholesome. It's a little bit more wholesome. It can
be more wholesome. Yeah. And I was like, the last thing I want to see is like a bunch of people kissing everyone in the house. Like I was like, I feel like that's kind of like a spread of some sort of the germaphobe in me.
Yeah,
is
I was
like,
going to say the hypochondriac.
Yeah, it's not. So, but we will still be watching for you guys and recapping. And if you don't end up watching, well, you could just listen to our recap.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. There. But you know what? I'm excited because, I met Micah in New York City a few months ago and I actually ended up really liking her. So I'm excited to watch her. And I did really enjoy watching Jess on Love is Blind season 6 and that she makes like a really good reality TV show personality. So excited to see her back, but overall not really excited to watch it. And I think kind of that's the consensus amongst a lot of people right now. It's just so different from like Love is Blind. So like I feel like the viewers don't really like translate over.
Yeah. And also I only know really like 5 of the participants, I guess. Yeah. Because the rest of them, I'm like, oh, I haven't watched these shows. Yeah. I'm like not up to date. So it'll be interesting to see new characters because it takes me a while to warm up to new like people that I see on TV.
There's people from Dated and Related.
Yeah, which never heard of it.
I never watched it. I did hear about it when it came out, but it didn't take off. Like it wasn't popular and there hasn't been a season 2. So I think I don't know why they brought people from that show considering it's not an ongoing Netflix reality TV show.
Probably because they're good looking.
That's true. I think this one, it's really hard to get into it because we haven't watched the other shows.
No, exactly. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Listen, I love good reality TV show. I'm watching it.
Okay, well, Deepti will be the judge if it's good reality TV. But again, we're not excited, but excited to see our peeps.
Yeah,
that
well,
we like.
I have a low threshold for entertainment. I'm very entertained very easily, so I'm sure I'll love it. It'll be fun. I know New Year's Day has passed, but one of my big goals for this year is to focus on saving and budgeting. And so I've been making an active effort to save every single month, but I do like to celebrate my financial progress by treating myself to a little dinner or a small gift here and there. That's why I really like Chime, because it's a great way to save and reach your financial goals easier while still allowing yourself to have that occasional treat. Because with the Chime checking account, you get features like fee-free overdraft up to $200 with SpotMe, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit.
I wish I'd spot me when I was younger, because there was this one time in college when I was 20 and I didn't know anything about budgeting. I overdrafted my account when my landlord cashed my rent check, and I had to pay an overdraft fee of $104 because I didn't notice I had overdrafted for a few days. So the fact that Chime has the feature fee-free overdraft up to $200 would have saved me the $104 I needed for next month's rent. Also, Chime's checking account has no monthly fees or maintenance fees.
So take more control of your finances and say goodbye to monthly fees. Open your account in minutes at chime.com/outofthepods. That's chime.com/outofthepods. Chime feels like progress.
Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details.
You know what I've been seeing a lot of, and it's resonated with me so much because you know me, I'm like a fate person.
You love the universe.
I love the universe.
The universe talks to you
all the time. I get signs all the time. I see repeating numbers everywhere, but also like I believe that everything happens for a reason, but not in a toxic positivity type of way, but like in a hopeful, keep things
You're optimistic.
Fun. Yeah,
you're
optimistic.
The opposite of me.
No. You're self-deprecating ass. I cannot. So the burnt toast theory is essentially the idea that like small everyday inconveniences that we experience happen for like a grander, bigger reason. So let's talk about something that we've all experienced, right? Like burning your toast in the morning before heading to work.
I've never done that.
You're like, I don't even eat toast. What do you mean? Okay, fine. A bagel, a Pop-Tart, a croissant. Whatever it is that you're cooking in the morning, it's burning. Okay,
it's burning.
So that one little accident has this like essentially a domino effect on your day. And so that makes you like 5 to 10 minutes late, which means you're late on your commute, that you would like you're not going at the regular time that you normally would. And so inadvertently, this like results in you like, I don't know, like not getting into a car accident, for example, because, the universe made you a little bit late. Or like say that you're late and you don't run into an ex-boyfriend of yours, and instead you run into like the love of your life. Like it's like a chance meeting, like a little cute meet story, So it's essentially the theory that because you were late, that other things happened in that day that were meant to happen to you. And I just fucking love that theory. So basically, it's showing you that by throwing like small inconveniences at you, the universe is actually saving you from something that's much more detrimental to you.
So how do you explain that day in Mexico when you broke your foot?
Honestly, I think it's because when I got back home, I needed to stop partying because you know me, I just love to go out.
The universe is like, let me break her foot so she can't go out.
No, seriously, because I literally could not walk. So I'm like, thank you to the universe, because now I'm being wholesome. I have not gone out since Mexico.
The universe is like, this girl is so wild and out of control. I need to break her foot. So
no, but really though, the little things can have a big impact.
I wish the universe would do that to me when I'm trying to get back with my ex. I wish the universe is like, break both arms. So you break all your fingers so you can't text him.
There's probably some shit that did happen. Like the universe exposed a lot of things about your ex that made you run. Imagine on your wedding day on Love is Blind.
I was going to say, I was like, what wedding day?
But literally
My
though,
fake wedding day?
Yes. The day before, if that fight hadn't happened, you would be married to the wrong person. That's burnt toast
Can
theory.
I just give you a...
Do you want to tell the people what happened that night?
Well, here you go. Well, it actually happened 2 days before my wedding day. But to be honest, I think I would have always said no. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like things happen that lead to something else.
Right.
Like I think about New York Boy, how I found that condom wrapper. And I didn't even want to go visit him that weekend. But it's like.
You were just compelled to go there for some reason. I remember you telling me that you're like, oh, like I should go.
Yeah.
But you were like dilly-dallying about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just things like that.
Okay. I see where you are coming from.
I think sometimes it's hard because I feel like my ex from the show sometimes would be like, oh, that's toxic positivity. And I'm like, no, because I think we should feel our emotions of like sadness, anger. I think all of these things should be like expressed. However, if you dwell on that feeling instead of looking at the positives in your life, I think like you're just putting yourself in a bad position. You know what I mean? So I think this is kind of that thing where you can be like, oh my God, like I burnt this. I, missed my train here. And like, yes, those things are happening, but like
it leads to something greater.
And you might not see it in the moment, but it is, it happens for a reason.
Okay, I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about the burnt toast theory is it makes me feel good believing in it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized most of my days were just like minor inconvenience over minor inconvenience. And I was like, where's the love of my life? Like
I'm on the search.
I was like, my fridge broke, my ceiling's leaking. I was like, is this just
I'm not gonna lie to you, the burnt toast theory or whatever this theory is, I was not looking at the positives so you guys, pod besties, I've been watching my dog Pixel. It's my family dog. He's been staying with me, and the other day I took him on a walk and he literally decided to poop in the middle of a crosswalk. We're in the middle of the road with 10 seconds left and he decides to poop, and it's like you hear cars honking at you, and I'm like, oh dear Lord.
You picked it up, right?
Oh, obviously I had to. Imagine
someone was like, is that Deepti from Love is Blind?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, picking up poop in general is just so awkward.
It's so weird.
And Pixel decides to poop at the most random place. It'll be like in front of a gym where people are looking at me, like watching me, and I'm like, good God.
And then you're all self-conscious of like how you're bending down to pick up the poop.
And then people are watching you like tie the dog bag, and I'm like, oh, this is so awkward. It's like the most humbling experience of your life.
I've never had to do it. I've never picked up dog poop.
You want to pick up Pixels later? We're going to take them on a walk?
Yeah, let me get that experience. I really want to add it to my life experience list.
I think you should. It's a bucket list item.
Well, this is probably a fact no one knows about me, but I'm allergic to dogs. So I've never had to pick up dog poop because I've never had a dog, never really been around dogs long enough to pick up their poop. No, if I did babysit, it was just for a few hours.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so, you're like, I'm good. I don't need that bucket list item.
And I actually did babysit a dog that I wasn't allergic to. It was my friend's dog, but she had a walker come and take it on a walk.
Got it.
So I've never picked up dog poop in my life.
Well, lucky you.
I know.
Lucky you. Next
I picked up other people's poop. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. You guys, I wish we could tell you the story. We just can't tell you the story. I'm sorry.
It would ruin someone's reputation.
But yes, we are talking about human feces. And it's oh my God.
I lost years out of my life that day.
Honestly, you know what? Since you had to experience that, you should never have to experience picking up any poop ever again in your entire life. You're done. Your quota's done.
It's like, if picking dog poop gets you into heaven, I finished I did it. I went above and beyond.
Honestly, you'll reach nirvana now that you've picked up a man's poop. Nirvana. Nirvana.
People are probably like, this isn't that funny, but I wish I could tell you guys this story.
This is the best
story.
And
I can't. No. I just can't.
We just can't. I wish we could just do like no, we literally can't. I'm sorry. But
what a day.
Oh man, what a day.
This has nothing to do with burnt toast, but there's another theory called the frozen pizza theory that's making its way all over TikTok.
Yeah, quite the opposite of burnt.
So the frozen toast theory.
ma'am.
So the frozen pizza theory. So I saw this by a TikToker named Becca Moore. So she explained this. This is her frozen pizza theory. So when things end with someone, you don't want them to view you like a frozen pizza.
Okay.
So what that means is like, a frozen pizza in your freezer, like it's that meal that you make when you're feeling lazy. It's super easy to make. It's always going to be there.
Drunken food.
Yeah, like you keep it in your fridge for like, a few days or a few weeks or a few months. And you choose it because it's easy. It's easy to make. So you need to make sure that no one views you as an easy and invaluable frozen pizza.
Ooh.
So like you don't want them to think that you're just available all the time and that they could like just like reach back out to you whenever.
Yeah, like kind of put you on a back burner and like get you whenever they want.
Yeah, exactly. And literally I was like, why did I not know this in my 20s? I think I was a frozen pizza to like literally every single dude I dated.
Ugh.
Like if they wanted to come back, I would take them back.
I think I was like that too.
I was a weak woman.
Yes. But that's why we learned so much from our crazy 20s. I was a psychopath in my 20s.
No, I was crazy. But anyways, as part of this theory, they're trying to say like, don't be a frozen pizza. Don't be readily available. Don't be like easy to make. Don't be invaluable. Like frozen pizzas are like what, $5 at the grocery store? Like you want to be a special birthday dinner that he gets once a year. And if they don't make a reservation for that special birthday dinner, they don't get it.
Yes, I love that.
So like you want to be a special birthday dinner where people need to make effort, people need to make time, people need to think to make that effort to get you.
Yes, lots of ingredients in this meal. Yeah. Yes, a little steak dinner.
Exactly.
Wait, I love this theory.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I know.
actually, because I think we often make ourselves so readily available to people that we care about, even when they do us so wrong, because you like hold on to this. I don't know.
No, that was me in my 20s, like for a long time where, an ex really messed up. And the moment he says sorry, I'm like, okay, yeah, like let's get back together.
Yeah. And I think we have to give ourselves grace though, because I was like this too. But I think one of the big things is when your partner and you are in your 20s, we're like still in this like growth phase of life. We're learning still. So it's easier to like forgive someone for their mistakes. We're also making mistakes at the same time. But I feel like now in our 30s, if the same situation happened, I'd be like, absolutely fucking not. You're old enough to know better on both sides. Us ourselves, we should be a little bit more like, hey, like I shouldn't be doing this in my 30s, but also with our partners. Like you're not going to tolerate shit that happened in your 20s now in your 30s.
No, totally.
Like, you should learn.
And the TikToker, Becca Moore, she said to make sure you're never someone's frozen pizza, you should get the ick every time they wrong you. So like, let's say the guy you were dating follows a bunch of Instagram models.
Oh, no.
And that she's like, get the ick. Yeah. Just be like, ew, why do I want someone that follows a bunch of girls that need so much like self-validation, need to look at other girls so much? Like get the ick from that.
Yes.
Don't feel bad about yourself and be like, oh, why does he do that? Is it something with me? No, get the ick. Like what a fucking loser. And it's totally right. When men now wrong me, like New York Boy or any of my exes, I was like, ew, like what a fucking loser. Yeah. Like who cheats these days? Ew, you're a loser if you cheat.
Agreed.
I'm sorry. If you cheat today, you're ding dong. Okay?
Oh my God, I haven't heard you say
if
ding
you
dong
lie to
forever.
your partners often, like what a loser. Ew. Like ew.
Especially if your threshold is this man from the date last night who told you about Harvard Law. The cheating spectrum is so, you're like, absolutely fucking like, your threshold is way low.
I know. Like, ew. So dude, seriously, when a guy wrongs you or a partner wrongs you, get the ick. Brother, like that is weird. He is so weird for doing that to you.
No, I agree.
Move the fuck on. That's what I wish I learned in my 20s. That was that really was like a lesson for me in my 30s. So I love the frozen pizza theory.
I do too. That's actually really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I was a frozen pizza for a lot of my
I know. And look, I'm not going to lie. I have some frozen pizzas. There's always that one person that kind of gives you that, like, you just know they're going to give you attention.
Yeah, the one that you always go back to.
Yeah.
Yep, I have those too.
Like they're kind of on your back burner, so I get it. But like, don't be someone else's frozen pizza.
Yeah.
You be that special birthday dinner.
You pick up the pizza if you want, but you don't be the pizza, okay?
Wow.
I love that.
Can I tell you the story about my mom? And it made me smile because I love when our family listens to our podcast and uses the products that we recommend. So Deepti and I have talked about how we are both obsessed with our Béis Weekender bags and their luggage, along with everyone on social media, apparently. But my mom was so convinced that she bought herself one using one of our codes a few months ago. So she and my dad actually came back from Peru recently, and she was telling me how typically when she's at the airport, she gets really anxious because her biggest fear is losing things. So she checks her pockets every 10 minutes for her ID, her phone, her plane ticket, etc. But she was telling me that she's never been more carefree on this trip because of her Béis Weekender bag, because it's so convenient. It has all the pockets that she needs to stay organized. She knew where everything was, and she knew that she could grab it easily. And my dad even said, like, wow, you haven't freaked out once since we've been at the airport.
I love that your mom is a big fan of Béis like we are. My mom also loves it. Béis is not only fashionable, but it's also functional, which matters the most when you're traveling. My favorite is the Weekender bag because you can fit so much in it, and all the interior pockets are to keep you organized, especially for my laptop. I love that component. I also love that it has a place for you to store your shoes separately because keeping my other items nice and clean in my bag is important to me.
Right now, Béis is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting BéisTravel.com/outofthepods. Go to BéisTravel.com/outofthepods for 15% off your first purchase.
That's BEIStravel.com/outofthepods. No, there's so many things I did in my 20s that I gave myself the ick about. And now that I think about it in my 30s, and I'm like, why did I tolerate that? Why did I go through this? Obviously.
Same.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I think back and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I feel like one of them is honestly in my 20s, I think I was this is so bad, but I was such a lonely girl. Like I was so lonely. And because I had nobody, I literally got into a relationship with the first person that gave me attention. And if you guys are in your 20s, pod besties, one thing that I have learned in my 30s now, do not get into a relationship because you are lonely, or get into a relationship with somebody that's just going to giving you attention right now. Like wait for the partner that's actually going to.
Yeah, like do your due diligence.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
and I never did the due diligence because I was so insecure growing up. And I was like, ooh, first person to give me attention. Like, you like me? Oh my gosh. Like,
totally.
I'm locking you in, you know?
I was like that too. I would see past the craziest red flags just because I was like, I just don't want to lose them. Like, I don't want to go back to dating. Like, I don't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, newsflash. For people who are now 32 and 33, you're going to end up alone. Okay. Like, do not settle for this dumbass man when you are 24 and you're just like, he's showing the craziest red flags.
Yes. No, I think you and I talk about this all the time is, we have protected our peace a little too much because we're so comfortable being alone. And it's also a testament to our friendship and our other friends and family in our lives. Like we don't feel this void anymore. But like I don't think we felt like that in our 20s. Like
no,
not at all. Cause I think it's like you get into your independence and you don't really know what to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's exactly where I was. I was like, oh shit. Like,
no, now that I'm in my 30s, I was like, I love being alone.
Yes.
How come I didn't feel like this in my 20s? Yes. I love when no one texts me all day. Mm-hmm. I love that there isn't some man that is so fucking annoying and who has the biggest red flags just gapping in my ear. I love now that I feel so content and that I don't feel anxious or my gut is fucking screaming at me because literally my partner is a piece of shit. Like I love.
It's so comforting.
Yes, I love like this place of now being like, I'm not going to settle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to settle for someone because I just don't want to be alone.
No, exactly. And you know what's so funny? The other day, my dad FaceTimed me at like, I don't know, I think it was like 3:30 p.m. or something.
I thought you were say a.m. I was like,
no, 3:30. No, my dad, please. At like 3:30 p.m. or some shit like that. Yeah. And tell me why I talked to him and I was like, oh, like my voice is raspy. Like, because I hadn't talked all day because obviously I live alone. Usually like we're talking, but like I think I was just texting you and I was like, oh my God, I haven't spoken one word today. But I found so much pleasure in that. I was just like, that makes me so happy. Like once in a while, you just need that. Which, you know what? That brings me to my next point of what I learned from my 30s versus 20s is also like, I like just having time for yourself, because I think I was so codependent on my relationship that it would give me anxiety anytime he was away or like working, or like he's like, hey, like I'm gonna go hang out with my, friends tonight, and I'm like, what? Like you're not hanging out with your friends? Like what do you mean? Like that would give me so much anxiety. And now I'm like, bye. Like see you later. Not that I'm in a relationship, but you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's who I'm gonna be now, because individuality is so important. But
no, yeah.
Bro, back then, I was just like, no, we were like attached at the hip. I was like, who am I anymore?
Oh man, I'm going to be honest. I was the opposite.
Really?
I was kind of like, I need my like space, alone time. Mm-hmm. Like I need to hang out with my friends. Yeah. I think what really helps is just like getting a hobby.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. That's one more thing I do when I get into relationships is I morph into them and their interests. And I feel like now dating, I'm not going to do that anymore. Like it's just not worth it.
Well, what's great is that I feel like you've now built your own world and people and hobbies.
Yeah.
And we love girls with hobbies.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. I am a woman of very few interests and passions. But it's so easy to like get a hobby. Like just like pick up a book and start reading. And you might be like, I hate reading. I hate reading too. I hate reading with a passion. But you do it and you kind of slowly develop a hobby. Or like we started volunteering. Well, kind of. And it's like we're trying to turn that into a hobby, and like walking could be a hobby, and like all these things. And I'm like, that's so important to like build your own world and like fill up your own time. And you don't need people to fill up your own time. Just like do stuff.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah. Just go on a walk. Yeah. Go on a walk. Sit at the park. That's a hobby.
I love sitting at the park.
Actually, so one time I went on a date a week ago, and the guy asked me, he's like, what do you like to do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies? And I straight up said that. I was like, I love going on a walk and like sitting at the park and watching the dogs.
I'm not going to lie.
And he's like, okay.
They're like, he's probably like, how old are you? I'm like 60.
But you know what? I was like, that still beats not being able to say anything.
No, I agree. When men ask me, or even friends are like, what do you like to do? And I'm like, I like to hang out with my friends. I like to go out and drink. I like to watch movies. But I'm like, those are all not really hobbies.
I tell people I like to cook. Like cooking's a hobby.
Absolutely fucking not.
Even though. Because I cook for myself. So like, I'm like, yeah, I don't enjoy cooking for myself. Okay. Because I made it a goal, remember this month, where I won't do food deliveries anymore.
Yes. No more fish fillets.
No. Yes. Okay. Well,
I call her out.
Because you're exposing me right now. We've never talked about this.
Oh, we haven't?
My favorite meal from McDonald's that I have once a week. It's a Filet-O-Fish meal.
So it's her favorite meal, not even from McDonald's. This is her favorite fucking meal.
No, I love McDonald's Filet-O-Fish.
I'm cringing.
Why?
I boycott McDonald's. I just don't like it. Did you know that if you leave out a McDonald's meal, it won't rot for years?
Good. Why would I want my food to rot?
Because that means it's organic and alive.
What do you mean all the food's dead anyway?
No, it's not. Plants are not, like, there's life to them.
I feel like once you plucked that romaine lettuce off its stem, it's dead.
No, babe, think about flowers. Just because you cut a flower from the thing, it's not dead yet. It still has life in it.
Give it a few hours.
Well, exactly. That's what food should be. It should die.
Well, the Filet-O-Fish, that fish was alive. Watch the vegans.
The vegans are going to come
like,
for you.
We're coming for Nat. No, I love a Filet-O-Fish at McDonald's. But you know, one time I said it to a guy that I was dating for a couple of weeks, and he ghosted me.
Shut the fuck up.
And I swear it was over the fact that I love McDonald's fish fillet.
Who is this man? He's probably my soulmate.
let me hook you guys up. Let me give
you
let me give you his number.
As long as he doesn't say anything about
It wasn't
Harvard
like
law.
it wasn't a ghost, but you could tell the moment I said it and he asked me what my favorite fast food was. I said it. It gave him the ick. And I don't blame him.
Yeah, it gives me the ick too.
Yeah, when people like chicken nuggets at McDonald's, I was like, you're nasty.
Oh, yeah. That thing comes out of a tube.
And I was like, you're gross. That's my deal breaker. I'm like, yep, nope, I'm never seeing you again.
Okay, but you're going to say yes to a fish o filet. I feel like that's judgmental
Wait,
of
guys,
you.
we can't even get the name wrong. I think it's called filet o fish.
Okay, I think they get the point.
It's a filet
You're like,
o fish.
listen, address
And
my
listen to
favorite
this.
food the right way,
Listen
please.
to this. I don't even get a regular filet o fish. I get the double filet o fish. 2 fucking fish patties in my goddamn filet o fish.
With that damn tartar sauce.
And I ask for double tartar sauce. And then when it gets to my place for a food delivery, I put extra mayo on it.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that part really...
I just like mayo. Everything else about that meal, but the mayo, yum.
Anyways, where were we going with this?
Hobbies.
I don't see the correlation right now.
You're like, how do we get back on track here? We've gone on a lot of tangents on this episode.
I don't know how to get back to hobbies, but what I'm saying is cooking. You could say cooking's my hobby because I live alone.
Yes.
And like a guy is not cooking for me, so I'm cooking for myself.
Yeah. You know what? Anytime people ask me about hobbies now, I bring out things that I did back in the day of my childhood.
Wait, okay, so what are your hobbies?
Well, okay. So
like if we were on a date, I was the love of your life and I asked you, what are your hobbies? Like what do you like to do in your free time? What would you say?
I would say
it's hard.
One, I'd be like, well, I'm my friend's therapist. They call me all the time. It takes up a lot of my time. No, just kidding.
People trauma dumping on me is my hobby.
I like to bond this way with people. Well, I would be like, one, tennis for sure. Like my dad plays tennis like every 3-4 times a week. So anytime I'm in the burbs, I go play with him. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I need to meet new people and join a league here because there's a really cool league here in Chicago. So I always, bring it back to tennis because that's like one thing I fall off of, but I quickly can come back. I'm
so
like, yep, yesterday.
Tennis
pickleball. We play pickleball.
Okay. Last summer,
violin.
literally a year ago.
Violin.
When have you played the violin that it's a hobby?
Ma'am, my grandpa bought me a handmade violin. It's so precious to me. But over COVID, I played the violin and I learned the guitar. Yeah, you're right. But you can't.
Okay, so I get it. On a date, I feel like you could.
I have to embellish a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I would do the same thing. Like I played viola from age 4 to 16.
Why did you
I would
never
probably say
this?
that was my hobby. I also played the cello.
Oh, I love the cello.
Because my sister played the violin, so we were a little
Oh my God,
duo.
should we play?
I don't remember shit now.
It's okay. There's apps for that now.
That's a very much like an Asian thing. Like you just have to do one instrument or you're not Asian.
100%.
You're not a real Asian if your parents didn't force you into some sort of instrument.
If you weren't a band nerd
or an
orchestra girly, or you weren't in a sport. Actually, for me, it was both. Like my parents made me do that shit. I was like, please don't make me go to orchestra.
My parents forced me into the viola, cello, and soccer.
Oh, I cannot believe they made you overachieve with 2 string instruments. That's insane. They should have been like clarinet, girl.
No, I know. I wish I was a flute girl.
Oh, you look like a flute girl.
I feel like I have a lot of breath. Like whew.
A lot of breath.
Like I feel like I'd be really good at a wind instrument.
Yeah. Like a little clarinet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But viola, oh man.
Oh,
I feel like I'm going to get early arthritis from that. But anyways, I feel like I could probably lie about and say my hobby is viola.
We just have to embellish. Again, you have to put your best foot forward. But as soon as you put that best foot forward, you better start picking up those hobbies because he's going to be like, oh, I would love to play tennis with you. I would love to play the violin with you. I've been playing for years.
He goes, what part do you play?
Yeah, he's like, do you want to go see the orchestra? I'm like, yeah.
What if symphony? He was like, oh my gosh, you played the viola? I played the cello. Let's duet for a second date. I'd be like, well, blocking your number after this one.
So be very careful on what hobby you pick because they could easily be interested and be like, let's go do it. That reminds me of Gilmore Girls when Lorelai was like, oh yeah, I fish all the time. And then she had to wake up at 4 a.m. to go fishing. That would be us.
Oh my God. No, that literally would be us. Make up a hobby and then learn how to do that hobby.
I'm done.
Just for the plot.
One thing I do wish I did more in my 20s though was like presenting myself in a better way. Like I think I used to wear so much Forever 21, and no shade to Forever 21, but come on guys, like that's like cheap clothing. It's not going to last very long. I was always in Forever 21. That was
21. Like the early 2000s Shein.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yes. But I was like, I wish I knew then to dress better, because I feel like I would just now when I dress better as we're sitting in.
As Deepti saying that, I'm looking at us and I'm like,
I do want to say
we're both in sweatshirts that both have stains on them.
No, literally. I'm pretty sure when I put this on, I got makeup rubbed off. And I'm like, whatever.
And I'm with and I'm wearing these sweatpants that definitely don't match my sweater.
No,
and these long like socks that go past the ankles with a little bit of lint on them.
I'm literally wearing Christmas socks because I was like, well, I can't find a clean pair right now. So that is honestly, do not take this podcast as an example of our style. Because
no, I wish I dressed better too, even now in my 30s.
I was gonna say, like last night. Like last night, I went to dinner with the girls and I like got really cute and dressed up, and I was like strutting. I was like feeling so confident.
I saw your Instagram story, and my mom saw your Instagram story too, and she was like, "Wow, Deepti looks so beautiful."
Oh,
and I was like, "That's so crazy." The transformation she did, because I saw her 2 hours ago, and
no, literally,
I was like, she did not look like that.
But I do wish I knew that in my 20s more. Like, obviously, I felt it a little bit, but I wish I dressed way better. Because I'm like, it really does just like up your notch. My aura is like glowing. I'm just like, people are looking at me and I'm like, oh, like I need to do this more often. But the problem is it just takes so much time and effort. Like
I love dressing like I'm rotting away.
I know. I love that.
And my style is rotting.
I know. I wish I could look cute like some of the other girls who just throw on some sweatpants and they're like, oh, just like effortless, beautiful. Nope, not me.
No. Yeah, when people wear like even matching like sweatshirts and sweatpants now, I'm like, huh?
It's like, yeah, I tried that once, looked like a period stain.
I was like, how come everything in my closet's mismatched?
Yes.
I was like, where'd you guys get these matching sets?
I love a good matching. Wait, do you remember the yoga pants back in the day that said, what did it say? Juicy on the butt? The juicy couture
No, my
pants?
mom would never let me buy them.
No, I couldn't either because I had a giant ass. I was like, do not call attention to this area.
It spread out in its head. You couldn't tell what it said.
You're like, what's that say? C-Y? What is that?
Junkie?
Or it's like you have a wedgie and it's just like, there's a J and a Y. Where's the rest of it? Man, those cute little skinny girls back then. It couldn't be me. Couldn't
be us. Couldn't be us.
Oh, that's funny. But no, I do wish I feel like
you wish you dressed better, like invested in like clothes.
Yeah, really, that make me feel really good. Yeah, for sure.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's one thing my mom taught me was like invest in those like timeless pieces. Mm-hmm. The thing about me is I never knew what was timeless. I was like,
I know.
Oh, this tie-dye dress? Yeah, timeless.
Tie-dye will never go out of style, okay? People are still tie-dyeing.
Like, my mom would be like, really like spend money on the timeless things. And I was like, okay, I'm going to buy this $150 tie-dye dress. It's
$150? If it was $150 back then, that's like $300 now.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
but
inflation.
It's not timeless.
No,
like,
that's not.
I would literally buy a black dress, being like, it's a timeless black dress, but it has like all these like frizzles and like little like tchotchkes all over it.
Dude, you know what's the worst thing too is like obviously coming from an Indian background, like we wear like such amazing material.
Yeah.
And my mom would take me shopping in India. She'd be like, "Ooh, like get this and this," and I'm like, I picked the worst fabric, and she was like, that's like the worst, like it's like Sheen style fabric, and I'm like, it's so pretty, and that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, I have no
sense of what's timeless or classic,
not at all.
But you know what's crazy when it comes to like t-shirts that I sleep in, sweatpants, sweatshirts, I feel like I have the eye to be timeless because I've had all of my loungewear for like 15 plus years.
Yes,
and they look like brand spanking new. And when I say brand spanking new, it looks like they're only 3 years old versus 15.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. On also, like, before I put this on, because I haven't worn this on
Your sweatshirt.
yes. But you know what I was going to wear? The black one that says smile. I'm pretty sure I've worn it every other episode.
I'm pretty
since
sure
we started
I
the
saw
podcast.
you in it earlier this week.
You did yesterday. I saw you yesterday at the dog park. And you're like, not that smile sweatshirt again.
It's always like, smile.
I had it on and I was like, did I wear this last week? I should probably change into a different color. Yeah. Love my sweats.
My sweats. Those are timeless pieces.
And listen, I think we can exude confidence in that. I love that shit.
I mean, I know I can't, but I'll still go out in them, you know?
Oh.
Like when we go to the grocery store, I'm telling you, we've made jokes about this, but we are not joking. We look disgusting.
No.
Like we're clean. Like our hair looks great. Sometimes we'll put on makeup, but our clothes, I mean, like, yeah, it's
Listen,
it's
we're not slobs. It's clean, but we're going to be wearing the same type of clothing over and over
It's like just mismatched sweatshirts and sweatpants and sometimes like a t-shirt from 2010.
It's so funny when people in our building see us because I think we have a few pod besties out there that also live in this building because they've told us when we're working on the in the business center or whatever, they look at us and they're like, are these the same girls? They come, they're like, are you Natalie and Deepti? We're like, barely.
I want to say no. I'm like, hi.
You're like,
but no, I love it. You know what? Wear whatever makes you confident. My sweats don't make me feel confident, but I'm going to wear them anyways.
You know what? Get you a girl who can do both.
Yeah. Get you a girl who looks like she's been rotting in her bed for 10 weeks. But then the next day, she's ready to go out.
Yes.
I love that.
That's one thing I kind of miss about corporate. Like, how did I wake up in the morning at 7 a.m., work out, and then put together a cute look, and then go to work in heels, and then come home and cook dinner for myself? Yeah, because, you know, I wanted to be cute. I had an office crush.
Wow. Oh, okay.
You know, you just got to dress up for their office
Yeah,
crush.
I worked in HR, so I didn't, because that would be against policy.
You're like, are you taunting? That's actually funny. That's funny.
No, I don't know how we did it back in the day. We were like huge tryhards. And that's what I learned in my 30s too, is like, I'm not going to try that hard anymore.
Yeah. You know, along those, no, really.
I'm tired. Okay. It might be an age thing too, but I was like, I don't want to try.
This is
like
what you get.
Bare minimum mediocrity. Like that is what I strive for.
Yeah. Hell
and
yeah.
you know what? That's okay.
We're telling you that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I learned.
You know what? Along the lines of that, I feel like now in my 30s, I need to stop being a people pleaser. And obviously, you know Jay Shetty. You love Jay Shetty. You love listening to his podcast. He came out with an episode about people pleasing, and it really resonated with me because I was like, holy shit, he's talking about me. And
he's like, this episode is for Deepti and Natalie.
Yes. Like, I struggled with this so hard, and it's been so tough to set these boundaries. But like, okay, this is what he said. He said, quote, boundaries are tough to set, especially with people you love, especially with people you're close to. We've been raised to want to be good people. And in our head, the definition of being a good person is someone who never says no, someone who always says yes, someone who's always available, like frozen pizza. We want to be liked. We want to be considered significant, important, nice, kind. But in order to get that validation, we often break promises to ourselves. So our definition of what it means to be a good, healthy human needs to be changed to the core. And I was like, I love that.
Wow, that's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy because I feel like I was a people pleaser in my 20s and my 30s. Now that I really give zero fucks, I've gone the other way.
Yes.
Where I'm like, I've protected my peace so much that the only friend I really have is my sister.
Hey, what about me? What about my sister? No,
I'm just kidding.
No, I know exactly. I feel like it's so uncomfortable to like set boundaries because I feel like I'm doing something wrong and you're not. You just have to like put yourself first and that's okay. But it's like a really hard lesson to learn.
No, it's hard because like I think that saying no makes you feel like you're being a bitch. But then I think about people in my life who have set boundaries with me where they're like, hey, actually, I'm not coming to this because I'm tired. I never think that they're being a bitch.
No, you're like a little bit disappointed, but it's
I understand and I understand. And so after seeing that, I'm kind of like, yeah, I kind of get it. I also think that now being in my 30s, because I definitely was a people pleaser in my 20s, I just stopped caring. I was like, I want to do what I want to do. Obviously, we still show up for our friends and family the best we can. But I'm like, hey, if something doesn't align with what I want to do, like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, there are like, exceptions. Right. Like, hey, we committed to going to an event or a party. We're going to be there even though day of we might be like, oh, I don't want to go. But if I'm like, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I have too much to do this week, I'm not going to this happy hour.
Yes, exactly.
Or like, hey, a friend needs a lot of help, but I'm also overwhelmed. Like, I might have to set the standard or I might have to set the expectation like, dude, there's a lot going on in my life. Let me know where I can help, but not to the extent that you may need.
Exactly. And that's the same for relationships too, I feel like, especially in relationships. I think I was so scared because I had this people-pleasing mentality. I would be so scared to like say anything out of pocket that they might not like. Like, oh, they don't want to like go to this restaurant because I know they don't like this type of food. But I'm like, I really want to. And I would compromise. Not doing that in my 30s.
Yeah. Because we always give in when people want to do something we're like, about. Yeah. It's like, hey.
Yes. It's you can be easygoing, but also like stick to your guns and like do what you want to do.
No, I love that. Yeah. I feel like we've changed so much since our 20s.
Yeah.
And I do love the people we are in our 30s. We had a friend who was turning 30 and she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm turning 30. And I was like, no, it's going to be the best thing ever. If you put in the effort to be a better person than you were last year and you feel like you are growing, every year is going to be so much better. And like age is just a number. And I promise you getting older is just so good.
Yes, it's inevitable.
I am so proud to be 32. I'm so glad that I am 32 and I'm not this dumbass 22-year-old anymore.
Exactly.
It's literally the best.
And I feel like in my 20s, I feel like in my 30s, I'm doing everything I did in my 20s, but with more money, more knowledge, and just better outlook on life and confidence. Absolutely. Yeah. I love our 30s.
No, I love it.
We're aging like a fine wine. And like, just remember that like, it's not about the outcome. It's really about enjoying the process. And I think like we've learned that in our 30s for sure.
100%. I love that you just said that. I fully agree. I know we told you guys that we'll be doing burning questions for this episode, but we're actually going to move it to next week's episode. So check out our Instagram page, Out of the Pods, because we'll be gathering your burning questions there.
Dun, dun, dun. My favorite segment. And make sure you guys leave a review and subscribe.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye.